Hey, what's going on and how are you doing out there today? This is Uncle Steve's Lounge and I am Uncle Steve. Welcome into the lounge today on the Monday Minutia episode where we go over a little bit of what the Falcons did over the weekend. Good job in the draft. Good job, uh, undrafted free agents. And of course, we're going to circle on the topic of the day, pranks. And their place in society. This week it reared its ugly head in the draft, and unfortunately, just like the Falcons, we ended up being in the middle of it. Come back, let's talk about it here on Uncle Steve's Lounge.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge.
What's going on, everyone? And thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. We are on two locations. We are on the YouTube channel, Uncle Steve's Lounge. If you happen to be on the YouTube channel, we appreciate you joining us there. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you. And also those of you on the Facebook channel, we do appreciate you joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. We are going to talk a little bit of Falcons here, and we would be less than sports enthusiast if we didn't talk about the unfortunate news with related to the Falcons when it comes to some of the draft pranks and junk like that came on. But again, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Hope everyone's having a great Monday. We are almost through May. Wow. We are almost to May, I should say. Goodness gracious. April 28th, couple of days left. I mean, it won't be long before we actually start talking real football, which is a great thing. And from the Atlanta Falcons standpoint, we did a pretty decent job. Terry Fontenot hopefully kind of saving his job with some pretty solid draft picks. He went 4 out of 5 defense. Been a long time since we've gone heavy on defense in these drafts. It started off with 2 players in the first round, Jalen Walker, of course, from the University of Georgia. For all you Bulldog fans out there just wanting to get that taste out of your mouth of the Atlanta Falcons not drafting Bulldogs, well, guess what? There you go. You got that. And then also the most intriguing pick, which I think is going to be a good pick, actually, and that is Mr. Pierce from the University of Tennessee. I think that's going to be a really good showing. Hopefully, he'll come through, and we have 2 starters from the draft on the field on defense. I think we got a good chance of doing that. I don't know why this thing all of a sudden just went foggy on me. There we go. I think like a piece of lint got on there, but I think they did a good job. What do you all think? Terry Fontenot, the job he did this week. I think compared to last year, where people were very critical, as they should have been with the results we had, 8-9. Some good vibes, probably the first good vibes on this team since before we arrived in New Orleans last year. If you think about how long it's been since we've had legitimate stuff to smile about in this franchise, I think this week, this last 3 or 4 days, gives us something to look forward to. Want to know what you all think as far as that's concerned. Again, I know the news is just dominating. The news line is, I think it's going to be over probably in a day or two. But the headline's dominating with the unfortunate circumstance of the prank call made to Shaduer Sanders. We'll get on that too. Shaduer Sanders drop. But the Atlanta Falcons, what would a offseason be without some type of something happening with us? And turns out that the son of newly hired defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, Mr. Jack Ulbrich, took it upon himself to say, hey, let me go into my dad's stuff and get a number I'm not supposed to have and cause drama around the social media world. And I know we're in an age of everything's a prank, everything's a short video, everything's a in the moment thing. Just weird energy with that. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of laughed when I heard it because I said to myself, I said, hey, these people have no chill with him. Then, of course, when I found out it was the Atlanta Falcons, my tune changed because I was like, dang, not us. But for everyone, in my opinion, trying to condemn Jeff Ulbrich for it, and look, if he was in his home and he had his stuff laid out, and I said this to somebody on Facebook, and I don't know what y'all think about this. If I come home and I have something that might have been left on a page and is sitting on the desk, I don't think my children are going to go and get it and use it to their advantage doing something, especially pranky. I just think it was just some sophomore gag that the young man thought was funny. I'm pretty sure he's not laughing today or yesterday. And they got some real things to talk about in the Ulbrich family. But from that standpoint, I'm not that over concerned about it. I don't think the NFL is going to do anything. Quite honestly, Shaduer did end up getting drafted in the 5th round. So at the end of the day, yeah, maybe definitely some tarnish harm on the kid as he should have. That was probably not in good taste. But I don't think you punish the Falcons or Jeff Ulbrich for it. That wasn't, I don't think that should have been done. Or nothing should be done as far as that's concerned. To me. But we'll see. I want to know what you all are thinking. We're going to talk a little bit about the Falcons. Feel free to bring that up. But if you think opposite or you have a thought on that, please let me know. I think a lot of people are ready to arrest him and charge him and fire, which is the dumbest thing, to fire Jeff Ulbrich. If you can't trust anything in your house, when are you going to trust information? This is not similar to Kyle Shanahan. Like we stretch on things, we really do. But let me know what you think. And if you want to throw in something about the Falcons draft, I'll be sure to mention that. But I am going to focus on the plight of Shaduer Sanders, why I think what happened to him, and in terms of locally, the tie-in with the little prank done over the weekend. I'm going to start off with John Higgins in the house. What's going on, John? He said, Uncle Steve, what's happening, little bro? I think you got it right. Now we have to coach these young players is up. He said, and as given up next year's first pick, if the Pierce gets to 7 to 10 sacks, is worth it to me. I'll sit back and listen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Carrie's in the house. What's going on, Carrie? Carrie from One Time for the Fan. They did a great job on draft night, doing their thing. Jack Spade, T. Will, and folks over there. I think Bodie was part of that as well, doing their thing. Good to see you in here. Say hi, Uncle Steve. Terry Fontenot absolutely killed it. Amazing draft class. Undrafted free agent signings, too. Hate that it has been overshadowed by the prank call. That's true. People are now calling for the Falcons to be punished. Thoughts? They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be at all. Thank you, Kerry. I appreciate that. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. Whether you're on YouTube, whether on Facebook, I appreciate it. No, I don't think it should be. They should be any kind of fines to come. I think again, this is. And I don't want to go too far, but I was like, yeah, just a little juvenile acting. 20-year-old. We all done silly, dumb, pranky stuff like that maybe when we were younger, and unfortunately you just did it high profile because your dad is big time in the NFL. He's an NFL coach, so he is going to get the criticism, and unfortunately the team will take a little bit of the stain, but you can bet your bottom dollar two things ain't gonna happen. Jackson's probably not coming anywhere near Flowery Branch. and I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that that iPad not having a Face ID or some type of PIN number to get in there. I can only imagine what's going on in that household. I was telling somebody, I was joking the other day. I said, yeah. I said he might be transferring from Ole Miss to DeVry after this is over with. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. DJ in the house. What's going on, Demetrius? Good to see you. He said, we put in the draft this year. We got more solid pieces with the undrafted free agents. Yeah, that was some good moves made there. I know, led by Kobe Bryant, who did a lot of good. A lot of people thought he was going to be 4th, 5th round. Ended up being undrafted there. Georgia, Texas boys in here as well. What's going on? Steve, the new era is here. It's time to rise up and stoop. Yeah, we can do that too. Absolutely. Travis Preston is in the house. Hey, hope you and the family are doing well. Thank you, sir. Great draft, but still worried about CB2 and center. Could we still see Ramsey? Now, the Ramsey thing is interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing Ramsey, but almost the opposite of what we're trying to do with Kurt. That's $20 million guaranteed that you have to, get for Ramsey to come in here. Ramsey would absolutely be an upgrade at the other side with AJ Terrell, but just a matter of how that money's going to look. Now we're going to have 2 first-round draft picks to sign for instead of 1. I don't know. It depends. I'm pretty sure you could still get some concessions probably from a couple of those contracts in there. I know Caden Ellis is probably up for extension coming up. Is he going to be around? Maybe we could move some money from him. I don't think he's going anywhere in the next couple of years. McGarry has a contract that they may be able to move a little bit and accommodate some of that to get a Jalen Ramsey in here. But I'd be all for it as long as Terry can work it out. No problem. Millie Mills in the house. What's up, Millie Mills? She's like, what's up with it? By the way, we get into the quarterback this year. Yep. Yes, sir. We are. I am all for it. I'm all for it. ATL Skate Man's here with what's going on, brother? Thank you for joining us here. King Richie, who's been all over the place. I've been seeing King on everything. What's going on, King? What's good? We up on the draft and was a smash. Terry did his big one. I am getting my parlays ready. Look, dude, don't even joke about that, man. I am for real. I am ready for my either Vegas or New Orleans trip, wherever I'm going for those preseason numbers this year. And I know, man, I wish I was there now. They got the Falcons at 7.5 right now, man. That's man, if I could jump and do that right quick. 7.5. Man, I could take that. Demetri says, I remember seeing in the comments on Instagram that we should get Kobe Bryant cornerback out of Kansas, and I'm glad we picked him up after watching his highlights. He's good. He's a good player. And it's going to go into what we'll talk about with Shaduer a little bit later. Sometimes, just sometimes, it's not about whether you're as good as whether the particular team needs you, which is the case I'm going to get to when we get through the comments, first round of the comments, and talk about what's going on with Shaduer. King says Terry did his job. It's on Raheem now. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Let's get that started. Millie says, been arguing with folks since Thursday that the trade ain't really nothing. We just used our first from next year, this year. That's all. Watch him pan out. Let me tell you something, Millie. If we make the playoffs, not a soul is going to be thinking about that. Because think about it. If you make the playoffs with a team with a second-year quarterback, as young as we are with this defense and offensive, you're going to be kind of like the Commanders. You'll be that team that people want to come to your organization anyway. So everybody keep tripping about the trade of the first-round pick. And I mean, whatever. It's just do your thing. We'll be fine. John Higgins says 21-year-olds being 21-year-olds crazy. And that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. What's up, James? How you doing, cuz? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thanks all y'all for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. I appreciate that. Georgia, Texas boy said, and it's not like this is the first time it's happened in the NFL. Absolutely. We trying to act so fake outraged over this, which in the end of the day, it didn't hurt. It sounded like he reached out to him. I don't know whether they talked personally, but it sounded like, according to his Instagram message, it sounded like he reached out. They made contact. Keep it moving. I looked on ESPN. You know how they have the bylines and the little headlines going. And yesterday into the night, it was the very first line. We already at the point where I think it finally dropped off, or it was at the very lowest end. We won't even be thinking about this by the end of the week. Only Falcon fans will be thinking about it. J&D Truck and the house is a bit of wild. Besides the Frank, Falcons did well in the draft. Now I need Raw to coach them up. Another person with absolutely telling them, hey, let's make sure we coach them folks up. We got to. King says Vegas got our spread 6.5, and well, you saw 6.5. See what I'm saying? And I know better than that's a lie. So I'll take that 6.5 on my parlay. Please look. Dude, let me see something like that. Man. Falcons, sans injuries, there's no way we're going to be. I'm going to stop because I know we got the schedule coming up. I'll say some of my predictions for later. Speaking of predictions, big time Jets. What's going on, sir? Again, make sure y'all check out One Time for the Fan. They did some great things, had some nice giveaways on draft night, doing their thing. He said, this is a big money podcast. Had to check my bank account just to make this comment. That's right. That's how we do it in here, brother. That's what we do here at Uncle Steve's Lounge. We all about must be the money. See, Dion got me singing this song. I don't know why. Y'all make sure y'all check my brother Jack's paid out in the who's. The bitch says, I think about how the Browns blew a big opportunity to stay at number 2 pick and could have gotten Travis Hunter and still picked Shaduer if he slid down the board the way he did. You know what? I think Cleveland played it good because they got a couple more draft picks. Maybe they were trying to fill their roster with some nice young talent, which I think they ended up doing. They got two second-round picks, and if I'm mistaken, I think they had a couple of third-round picks too. Cleveland had, I think, 8 or 9 picks going on. So I'd have no problem with what Cleveland did, and especially if that's what they wanted to do as far as players are concerned. Georgia, Texas boy say Stoop is the name of a Falcons attack on his prey. I'm glad you told me that because I was wondering myself. I was like, what is that? But thank you for the education. A brother like me sometimes need that. Sterling Woods is here. What is going on? Said Mangan, Walker, and Pierce is still wild to me. I'm ready to see what this defense can do. And I'm trying to tell y'all, Jeff Ulbrich is the right person for that. If everybody can kind of push their feelings aside of what his offspring did this week, which should be out of the news circulation in a couple of days. I think he's going to be able to work wonders. Ulbrich is known for having an attacking defense. I do like these two young guys in there. I can't wait to see what they do with Jalen Walker, to be honest with you. I hear all the Michael Parsons comparison. I don't want to get into that. Michael Parsons is Michael Parsons. I'm just excited to see that young man line up in so many different places. And Pierce, if Pierce can just give me a little some, this is going to be a really good defense. And I keep forgetting we got Leonard Floyd as well in the offseason. This is going to be nice. King says somebody might need to do a wellness check on Jazz because I know Ulbrich put his foot in there. Be wanting to fire my DC. Sorry, not sorry. I don't blame you one bit. I mean, that's what it all comes down to, folks. I don't think it's going very good for Jax this weekend. I really don't think it is. And and to think about it, you're in the headlines. You got your dad and your dad's employer in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. I don't think life is going well for him right now. Millie Mills says, the only thing I got to say now on the Shadur is what Denzel Ward say, now is the time to be legendary. I hear you. I hope you can match it up. I really do. Brother Dez Shabazz in the house. What's going on, man? What's happening? How do you feel about Jalen Walker playing outside linebacker? Yeah, I'd rather him an inside linebacker. He's kind of versatile, though, Brother Dez. If you looked at him and what they did with him at Georgia, he didn't exactly. I mean, he could be a very good outside linebacker. I see somebody that I could see him coming off that edge. I could see him going in the middle as well. But I think the sky's the limit. I think you don't limit him just to the inside. I think if you can probably and stay with me on this because I know people say, oh, he was a 4th round pick or 5th round pick. JD Bertrand intrigues me. I'm not saying he's going to take the place of Caden Ellis or anybody, but he intrigues me in the middle. I know that he got a lot of run near the end of the year, probably on some bad with bad personnel around him. He's the quintessential inside linebacker to me. And I think if they can do some things with him, that would free you up to do a lot of things with Jalen on the outside. That's just my opinion from what I see. We do have a super chat in the house. If I can cut all down here, y'all got some good comments in here. I appreciate that. That is my brother John Harris in the house with the access. Appreciate you coming in here. He says, "What was this youngin' thinking? Stealing private information, using it, embarrassing the family, and bringing undue negative attention to the franchise." I think his word is stupid, and I agree with you 100%. Thank you for the super chat there, sir. Get you some Bobby Caldwell going on. Y'all, you remember this song, Blue Lights in the Basement, going to that prom? Y'all remember y'all remember this? This was a Girl, Will You Dance With Me song. That's what that was. Bad. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Georgia, Texas boy said we went from an old team to young on both sides of the ball. Yes, we did. Demetrius says we're in a position to where we gotta win now. People are going to always find something to complain about. I was surprised, but glad we got 2 pass rushers in the first round. Demetrius, the one thing I'll say with all the good vibes and everything with Terry Fontenot right now, getting to see Raheem, who barely smiled those last few weeks as he shouldn't have been. there's another good vibe going on now back into the house. So I love this move, but Terry is still on the hot seat. And when I say that as somebody who has defended him on my channel, I've defended Terry, I've defended Raw, and I've defended Patience. Now, Terry, his leash is a little shorter to me because Terry's been here through the author years, and now this is his second year dealing with Raw. Yeah, he had to get it right. So for those talking about mortgaging next year's draft, yeah, Terry knows. Guess what? We don't make that. We don't hit that 6.5 wins. Terry not gonna be here anyway. So he's gonna do whatever he has to do to win, no doubt. Speaking of one time for the fan, T-Wheel in the house. We had a great time with T-Wheel on day 2 of the draft. The other day, me and my brother, Big Low Country Sports. Matter of fact, Big Low lost his mind, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out Big Low, his new video on there, his little ode to Outkast after the draft, celebrating Outkast with their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominee. Well, they're in it. So that'll be kind of fun to see. Hopefully they'll get a chance to go and perform. I don't know if they'll perform. I know they'll show up, but congratulations to them. David Starks is in here. What's up, Dave? He said, what's up, Steve? Pierce was a projected top 5 pick in this year's draft and at the end of last year. If we get that out of him, who cares about that one that we gave out? I could care less about that pick. Zero could care less about it. Give me the production on the field. Give me 6 to 8 sacks. I think the majority of Atlanta Falcons fans will be satisfied. Atlanta dog Jax Obert said he thought he was a jerky boy. He did. That's what I'm saying. These little kids, they watch these things. The little show on TNT. What's the guys? I can't even think of that. The idiot guys that do all the pranky stuff and have the movies. I can't even think what their names is. The one that he was in the movie with The Rock in Walking Tall. Those guys. And people think they can do that. They think that's what they do. So that's crazy. Island Mike is in the house. And y'all make sure y'all wish Island Mike a happy birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Good to see you in the house. Appreciate you coming through. He said, Dion's own son just fired him as an agent. He should have. He wasn't getting him a job opportunity. He should have. Oh, I see another super chat in here, y'all. Let me address this down here. Coach's Corner in the house. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Coach's Corner. He said he's getting things rearing and go. They're going to talk a lot of defense on his podcast, Coach's Corner. Y'all make sure y'all tell Coach Dre, hey, when he starts it up. He said, I don't get all the fuss. We all have called people using star 67 and played on their phone a joke in poor taste, but yes, I'm sure we have all said worse. I absolutely believe that too. Yeah, Dre some Keith Sweat. Dre seemed like somebody who he sound like somebody who liked Keith Sweat. I think if I go to Dre's house, I bet he got some Keith Sweat all over the downstairs from back in the day. I appreciate you, Dre. Thank you, brother. I always appreciate the support, my friend. Thank you so much. Millimeter said, maybe this is far-fetched or maybe it is still draft hype, but I truly think we got our own foundation now. Got to let them grow. And I want to see how Terry handles the roster going forward. He's going to get this one chance to let Obridge get it right, and hopefully they can move forward as far as that's concerned. Millie David said, as far as the prank, I was upset because of the attention it brings to our organization. Same here. Unwanted attention that we don't need. And the phones are team issued. It's a security violation. Now, this is true, but the mere fact that he got, well, was it the phone or was it the information he got? So it was the information. I don't think he was on the phone. I think he wasn't he, or maybe he was. Maybe I gotta check that situation. I thought he got the information and then called from there. I thought that's how he did. Now he got the phone. That could be some whole nother thing there. Mr. Smith, what's going on, man? How you doing? Uh-oh. He said, "Oh, was good. I'm stuck at Miami airport. Been here for 6 hours. Our plane hydraulic system failed. Dang. So this is live and much needed. Thank you, Mr. Smith. I appreciate you, man. I hope that plane gets out of there. If it makes you, and it's not going to make you feel better because you're trying to get out of there. I had a trip. I want to say it was about 3 weeks ago, and kind of ran into the same thing. It was about 4 hours late. So I'm not into your territory with that. But hang in there, brother, and thank you for listening. We appreciate you joining us on here. Like I said, chime in, man. Tell us how you feel about Shaduer. Tell us how you feel about the draft picks. We're going to be here for a minute to see what's going on with you. Again, as y'all coming in, make sure when you come in, hit the like button for your I appreciate it. We're trying to get things rolling in here. Hopefully we can get to 2,000 before the season starts in here as far as subs on the YouTube channel. We appreciate everyone support. Appreciate y'all giving the super chats and everything. We love the interaction. Love to hear what you all have to say. Atlanta Dog 88. He said, "I want to hear the Mickey Loomis impersonation." Yeah, it was kind of. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you because I laughed when I first heard it, before I found out who it was. I thought it was dirty. It was low down, and if it wasn't the Atlanta Falcons doing it, I'd still be laughing. We here in Atlanta, though, we are so tortured, unfortunately. You know, when you come, the Roddy White, who was pumping the music into the stadium, the last year, Kirk Cousins don't know when to be quiet. Just little things that we do to just sabotage ourselves. It just seems like one of those situations again. And that's what I was most upset about, is that we're getting into this cycle of just bad luck. So I hope this can kind of push over. I hope it can. King says, the undrafted free agents, we got 2. Terry did his job. No more Terry slander will be tolerated. I saw you yesterday, King, when you said that on shout out to Ryan, the historian, doing his thing on CC. I saw you do it. I saw you tell them that. And I'm in the same way, man. I've told people there is zero tolerance for that over here with me, even before this happened. I think Terry's on the hot seat. I had a chance to, I don't know Terry personally, but I have had 2 fortunate opportunities to have a more than 2-minute conversation with him in 2 different settings. And I like the guy. Family man. I like him personally. Now, he needs to be held accountable for mistakes. I'm still scratching my head a little bit about the Kirk Cousins. I get it, but yeah, he's responsible for that. But yeah, I'm done, especially after this draft. Nah, don't. If you're gonna talk bad Terry stuff, you might as well go and get on off here if you want to, or you can get on here and try to challenge me and tell me why he should be ridiculed. But after this past week, he should be going to every steakhouse in Atlanta and get a free steak. Demetri said, not to get off the subject, but congratulations, to Outkast for being selected into this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm sure you just heard me say that as well. Congratulations, Outkast, representing well the Georgia area, is particularly the Atlanta area. Millie Mills says, and I found it amazing that JPJ looks up to LT as a pass rusher. Boy, you too young to know about LT, but you know about him. Yeah, I look, man. I think. And speaking of LT, that was a funny story. With the guy trying to get the number from Lawrence Taylor, and he He told him, "No, man, make a name for yourself, bro." That was just crazy to me. Georgia Texas boy said JD is what you look for in the middle linebacker. That's what I'm in the middle linebacker position. That's what I think. If he can raise his game up, I could see him being. And this is no slander saying Keith Brooken. Keith Brooken did a good job for us in the middle when he was here. I know people were feeling a little ways about him because he basically replaced Jesse Toggle, but he did a good job when he was here in the middle. If we can get that type of production, that type of stability in there, I know Nate Landman flashed some of that a year or two ago, but we need that on a more consistent basis. Can JD Bertrand be that answer? Maybe. We'll see. Rusty Moore in the house. He said Terry gets a plus for me. I really want to win games this year because I don't want to see Terry get fired. I like Terry as a person a lot. I think he seems like he's a real good dude. Same here, man. I really think he's a good guy in there. And I got another super chat, man. Y'all are awesome today. Atlanta Falcons pandemic. Y'all make sure y'all check him out doing his thing on his channel, brother. I sure appreciate you joining us today. He says, Cousins, tampering, prank. Can we just play some football? Are y'all feeling me now? Terry Fontenot for General Manager of the Year. Hey, if he gets that, I am totally down if he can make that happen for us. We're going to get us into you, brother. Appreciate you, my brother, coming in here, doing your thing. And again, y'all make sure y'all check out Atlanta Falcons pandemic coming up. 2025 is going to be bigger and better for a lot of us here in this space. Speaking of which, another high quality podcast is our brother Ryan, the historian in the Bird LCC, doing his thing. He says, we just had a great draft, man. Enjoy the draft, and we finally got the pieces. We will deal with the consequences when they arise. We good, bro. Of course we are. Of course we are. I think we are. Look, what we need is for Ulbrich not to have any distractions. Keep his little boy at DeVry or wherever he's going to take him now, and get him out of the way. And let's work on getting this defense taken care of. I think he can do it. Sean B-Man in the house. What's going on, Sean? Good to see you, brother. Our secondary will be crazy. I hope these undrafted agents, standouts like Kobe, Nash, and tight end, and the tight end make our team. Shout out to our pass rush. Rise up, Tampa. We coming. Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, yeah. See it now. We coming in there. Another super chat in the house is my brother from another mother, my boy, Kylie Jones in the house. Atlanta Bird Gang. I had an outstanding time breaking down the draft with him. We have done it so many times together. We had a great time this year. I think this might be one of the first times that we had big smiles on our face when this draft came through. So I am glad that he was able to witness that with me. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Atlanta Bird Gang. I know Tidy will be on there. I'm probably looking for some draft grades from my brother Tidy. I'm sure he's going to have something on here. I don't want to speak for him too much, but I know he's doing this thing. He says, sign Devonta Freeman. I don't know about all that. He said he's a winner. Now, he was a winner for 1 year, but I'm not going to go that crazy as far as keeping him. Devonta Freeman, keep working, brother. Keep doing that stuff in the gym. You'll make a good coach one day. I'm pretty sure the UFL got some things for you. I'm going to leave him alone. Oh, man. Boy, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. Music Soul Child coming to town too. Got to check that out, brother Toddy. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for always supporting me here, brother. And as I support Atlanta Bird Gang, y'all make sure y'all check them out, brother. Make sure y'all check them out. David says he still shouldn't have been able to access work product. People get fired like that. Oh, absolutely. And again, if anybody didn't hear what I said at the very beginning, it's not nobody is excusing him for the asinine thing that he did. I guess what I'm saying is for all of you that are trying to put him in jail, you know, take away his life and whatever. One, he's a silly young adult who did a silly young adult thing. And then two, when you start talking about in a household where he knows what his dad does, he knows what his dad's been doing. Now, if you're foolish enough to possibly destroy your father's or anybody in your family's job by going through information you know you don't have any business because you thought it was funny, then I'm pretty sure he could care less about these likes and things online. That is probably, I can't even imagine what Jeff Obridge, who doesn't look like he plays around, I can only imagine what's going on in that household as far as punishment or something as far as that's concerned. He ain't going to get over on this one. James Holloway is in the house. What's going on, James? Good to see you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. William Amy's in the house. William, what's going on, William? He said, we're going to lose. I don't think it goes to that level. If anything, if there was going to be anything done, it would be internally by the Atlanta Falcons for maybe saying, hey, we just need you to lock that up a little bit next time, Jeff. This could have been a lot worse. It could have been something where, I don't know what you're compromising aside of just the guy's private phone. And it's not like he had Social Security on it. It's not like he had that. Now, in the Obridge household, I'm pretty sure now he's going to have to lock stuff up and all of that. But, yeah, we're not going to lose a draft pick. Like I said, we comparing apples to oranges with some of this stuff. Ryan says, the only thing I want from Terry is for our draft to be consistent like this every year. And again, you got to start somewhere, Ryan. This is the same guy. This is the same guy that gave us in a row Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Michael Penix as well. So I can't crap on him wholly, but your request for consistency is understood. He does. We need to have more. Okay, I'm satisfied with 80% of the draft. If you can satisfy 80% of the draft, we only have 5 picks. And I think all 5 of them are pretty good. But if you can satisfy 80% of your draft picks, if they look good on paper, I think that's a successful draft. This is the first time he's had one of those. But let's not ignore the fact that Bijan Robinson is on the team. Michael Penix, who, think about if we didn't get Michael Penix and we would have had to wait around. We would have been trying to draft Dylan Gabriel ourselves this year. So, Coach's Corner says LT said to the no on him using the number. He said, get a number and you make it famous. He should have said that. He should have said that. Again, why would you want to get a retired number? And I understand. I played it in high school. But make your own mark. And again, I haven't even gotten to the Shaduer thing like I want to, but and I am in a second. As soon as y'all have been commenting like crazy, and I love it. He said, well, we just had a great draft. Enjoy the draft, and we finally got pieces. We will deal with the consequence. I think he said that. I think he said that already. I might have got this wrong. I'm sorry. I might have pulled that down. Georgia, Texas boy said, only folks I hear complaining about this draft is the national media and those who wanted Mike Green. Yeah, we didn't make their mock drafts nice. So that's what that was all about. So I'm not worried about them. Not at all. Right. Jeff Obrist kicked his. Yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Life was not good in the Obrist household this weekend for Mr. Jats. Not at all. Georgia, Texas boy says, counting both drafts from 24 and 25, we could have 7 new starters on defense, and that's not counting free agents, just draft picks. And again, he's referring also to Braylon Trice, who could be into that starting rotation too. I'm laughing ahead, looking at Atlanta Dogs to my welfare check. Y'all better check them. Y'all better make sure that Albridge dropped the people's elbow. Oh man, Will maybe say it could cost him his job. They already said it's not going to cost him his job, bro. You got to stop going to panic mode, bro. They already said it. They said he's not getting fired. Looking for the worst case scenario as far as that's concerned. He's not getting fired. They already said it. Miller said Mike Green in Baltimore with Starks and Hamilton. I like that for him. No, good for Mike Green. Yeah, Mike Green. Yeah, don't cry for some of these guys. And I'm glad we got there. And this is so awesome. Appreciate all the comments. But I did want to get my 2 cents in on the Shaduer Sanders thing, and since everybody's talking about his fall. His fall did not shock me at all. Not in the least bit. I respect the way things are going these days. I respect that these young kids now are getting paid in college. They're able to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness. They're able to kind of deal with, if you have a skill set for these colleges and these programs, then you should be compensated. And a lot of them have taken total advantage of that. Shaduer Sanders, to me, is a good quarterback, but I was not thinking he was anything special. Matter of fact, he probably would have done better coming out last year. And he was eligible. He would have been better coming out last year. I don't have the sympathy that folks are having for him. I do honestly feel like a lot of the stuff that was said before, whether it was in joking fashion or not, with Deion saying, I'm going to do an Eli. They're going to go where I say they go. And for us, we like hearing that. We're like, oh, you tell them, Prime. You tell them. And I'm like, yeah, I guess they told Prime. Look, you got to... The NFL, you got to audition to go to that job. They don't just automatically say you're the best. You're the best at throwing the ball, and we're just automatically going to choose you. That's what those sit downs are for. I mean, and I can tell you right now, I don't know Shaduer Sanders from Colonel Sanders or Larry Sanders. But it doesn't take a genius to figure he got a little bit of chip on his shoulder. Got a little bit of what I would call overconfidence. It doesn't, for those of you who want to go to his little line, it doesn't affect me. And as he's finding out, it's affecting him. You can't go in here with grown men and grown coaches and grown general managers who trying to keep their $1 million jobs too and act like you all that. You can do it, but instead of playing in September to December, you're gonna be with the Renegades and the San Antonio Brahmas playing this Sunday. And for all of the Dion holder on and I look, as a man with great faith myself, I love the message that Dion preaches and his family circles around. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm glad that they are at least grounded there. Sometimes a lot of that doesn't come to roost for a couple of years until you really need that maturity. But just because a man tells a scripture or two, just because he spouts out something that has God in it, it doesn't necessarily mean everything he's saying is the right thing. I'm telling you that right now. There are things called false prophets. I like Deion Sanders. When he was with the Falcons, I loved him on the team. I think for the most part, he's a really good role model to the young men. But I think also, let's stop pretending like this guy and his sons are a little arrogant. Let's stop pretending like y'all didn't see the 10x10 gold medallion on his chest at the first press conference when he was saying, "No, they didn't get me today." And I'm not trying to tell you that's not I mean, if his dad is rich enough to buy it for him, or if he's rich enough to get it through NIL, knock yourself out. But you're playing quarterback in the NFL. Owners don't want all that. Coaches don't want all that. Quiet as is kept. Your teammates don't want all that. From somebody that's just coming in the league. When he didn't get drafted in the first round, the first thing I said was, oh, he's definitely not going to get drafted real quick. Now, you know why? Folks don't want a backup quarterback getting all that press. Coaches don't want all that distraction. He's a 5th round pick right now. That first roster that comes out, you know how y'all, when they go to practice and you see the 4 quarterbacks in a row. Dude, he's behind Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel. He's going to be number 4 on that row. Do I think he has an opportunity to get that job? Absolutely, I do. Judging off what I've seen for the last 2 years, he absolutely has what it takes to go through that and get that job. But I think this was a great thing for him. Not because we hating on him, not because we jealous of what his worth is, and because he dresses this way and he talks this way and he got a little confidence on him. Nobody's jealous. But this what happened this weekend. This wasn't racism. This wasn't collusion. And if we're honest with ourselves, I hate this. Now I heard one of the pundits today. 143 picks and no team wanted to get it. Well, first of all, there were only about 4 teams that really needed a quarterback that we've been talking about all along. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, as of recent, New Orleans, and the Giants. Those were the only teams that anybody was talking about. We were talking about the Raiders before they re-signed Geno. Nobody else was talking about majorly getting a quarterback. I put Tennessee out of that because Tennessee knew they were going to get Cam Ward. So let's stop pretending like teams needed a Shaduer. If you're a team, I kept hearing people talking about Philadelphia. Man, do you think Philadelphia wants Shaduer to come to the... Man, please. Howie Roseman not bringing that act into a championship locker. And those guys in there got enough swag and attitude and stuff, but keep it in perspective. I'm not here to tell you you can't be that guy. You can be that guy all you want to. You could be that guy with the bravado. You could be that guy with the legendary or whatever he does. You can do that all day. Your dad can go out and tell NFL people, nah, that's not where you're going to play. Yeah, that's not what we're going to do. All of that was good media stuff. Ha, ha, ha. Look at that Dion. Look at a great dad he is. And he is a great dad. He does seem like he's a great dad. I'm not arguing that. But all that stuff right there, that works in the smaller circles. That works for us that's looking on the video like, boy, that Dion boy, he's something else, boy. But Dion found out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Folks ain't trying to hear all that. Dude, Jalen Miro got drafted before Shaduer Sanders. They didn't have anything to do with ability. And we'll see. Shaduer did that, and I'm really glad that he got drafted. Seriously, not even trying to be funny. I'm glad he did get drafted because now he has the opportunity to say, you know what? Now I can work for it. I don't want to be Trey Lance. I don't want to be Zach Wilson. I don't want to be these guys that didn't get an opportunity. And y'all stop miss me with all the comparison to Baker Mayfield, a comparison to Johnny Manziel, and every other person turned out to be white that you compared them to. All those people got drafted. Those people got drafted in the first round. Shaduer Sanders was not going to be drafted in the first round no matter what. I was shocked he didn't get drafted in the second round. But he wasn't. Somebody's going to probably come out later on, maybe later when his career is over with, and they'll tell you what happened on those interviews. I know stuff is leaking out now about the Giants interview and how that went. Folks, the NFL doesn't have to hire you for anything. They don't have to draft you. They don't have to. That's Kobe Bryant from Kansas. They had him, like I said, third, fourth round. But we got to stop this narrative now that they doing Shaduer wrong. I bet you if you go to Colorado and ask half those Colorado folks about Shaduer Sanders, I bet you quiet as it's kept, except for his probably offense and a couple of guys like that, I bet you, I'd be willing to bet you he wasn't the greatest teammate in the world as far as off the field. But that's me talking. What y'all think? I know I talked a lot about that, but I had a lot on my mind because I think we assign things. This is not a walk to DC. This is not a bridge or walking across the Selma Bridge. This is not a protest. This is a very, very, very hyped up dude, overhyped, who didn't get what he thought he was going to get. And you know what? In life, sometimes you do it. Everybody's going through it. I get stuff I'm not supposed to get. I didn't get things I thought I deserved. And you could either do one or two things. You could pout or you can go get it. And he doesn't seem like somebody who doesn't want to go get it. So tell me what you think. I'm very interested to see, am I alone in this thought process when it comes to Shaduer? Because I've just been seeing a lot of people. I heard people talking about they're going to go to lawyers and collusion and all this. And I'm just like, I just don't think it's that deep. Dwayne Green is in the house. What's going on, brother? He said, what's up, Uncle Steve? I got a question. Why, after we have a good draft, we still have something negative that happens to our organization. Yeah, this is just bad luck, man. I think it's really bad luck. James Dockery in the house. What's going on, brother? What's good on? Rise up from Kentucky. Hope all is well with you and the family. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Atlanta Dog 88 said, Unc, you read the report about Walker having a shoulder issue that might need surgery? Oh, I have not. I have not. I hope it's not that serious. If it is, hopefully not. Georgia, Texas boy said, not at all. In my opinion, he's slower. He's a slower Caleb Williams. He needs to work on pocket awareness. And if we're honest, Shaduer is bad built. Look, man, it's okay to give him criticism. Folks act like if we give him criticism, especially some of my community, they act like if we speak out against Shaduer Sanders, we speak it out against black athletes all over the place. Black athletes, black men at quarterback. When the first overall pick in 2024 and 25 were both black. And yet we still run to that easy card. Save that for what we need. Save that for some of the stuff we need in the real world. Not in this case. That's the Flash. What's going on, man? How you doing, sir? How you feeling today? Uncle Obi's thing is funny, but I believe some fans just don't like him, so they're hoping this cost him his job. We don't understand how to have nice things as fans. I know, man. Ober's is going to be a difference maker, if you ask me. Dre said, it had nothing to do with race. Imagine walking into your boss office before you get hired and saying, I will only work these days and I will change your company. That boss would say, get the fuck out of here. Absolutely. Greg, I didn't even see you in here, man, with the super chat, man, my friend. Thank you so much. He said, Shaduer better than Tyler Show. New Orleans shade. He is, no doubt. Y'all make sure y'all check Greg out on Greg Custom Kicks, man. Y'all get them shoes from Greg. It's the off season. Got a couple of months. You got some time to work on them. Y'all make sure y'all go check them out. David Starr says, as far as the NIL is concerned, a little off subject. I hope it gets worse before it gets better. The NCAA is taking advantage of these kids for too long, and it's payback time. Absolutely is. Get while you can, because they're going to regulate it soon. It's coming. Georgia, Texas boy say, if you want to change your franchise, pick me. I've done it before. I mean, he say the Battle Hawks. But you see what I'm saying? That's and folks, y'all gotta stop with the hate. It's not hate. It's real life. Folks aren't gonna hire you if you come in there cocky like that. They aren't. Atlanta Falcons pandemic says Deion interrupted the drafting process and that rubbed people the wrong way. A lot of the admins running the NFL now played against Deion and didn't care for his arrogance, flashy attitude then. And folks, there are past players coming out with this. This is not about this poor kid who's getting wronged like some of these journalists and half of ESPN trying to act like we robbed him of a job opportunity or something like that. No, this is self-inflicted, man. Self-inflicted. Sorry. It is. Billy Miller said, hey, in the words of Terry, it's some good talent on the Renegades. Y'all be watching too much. UFL, boy. I was laughing with my son the other day, and they were talking about I see Georgia, Texas boy say, Shallow ain't making better. Look how they doing you. Oh, bro, I ain't getting drafted. Yeah, I know. I saw that clip too. Me and my son was making fun. I told him, I said, Shallow got the call the other day. Oh, who is this? Hey, Shiloh, it's The Rock. He said, oh, man, The Rock. What's going on, man? I said, oh, yeah, we got a place for you on the Brahmas. But I know Shiloh is playing for Tampa Bay. So good for him, too. He's going to get an opportunity to do his thing as well. That's you get drafted, you have opportunity. So that's all I'm saying. We'll maybe say, yeah, Shiloh into the bus. We know. Atlanta Bird Game Titus says, and then they threw shade at Joe Flacco on TV during the draft. Absolutely no humility at all. And they paid the price for it in the draft. In caps, nobody is bigger than the program. Folks, we didn't start that today. We didn't start that. Nobody is bigger. When you talked about the Eli Manning thing, Eli Manning coming out that year was the best quarterback. Him and Phillip Rivers came out the same year, folks. And I'm not trying to tell you Phillip Rivers was mounds better than him, but it was closer. Come on now. King Richard said, remember when Justin Fields said the NFL is easier than college? I do. And then the next 5 games, he got his butt lit up. So I get what you're saying. That's my only thing. Again, it's a different generation. I'm not trying to tell you that their way is wrong. But for right now, it's not going to fly with them 32 owners. And I know Green Bay got their thing, but it's not going to fly like that. You can't come in. You're playing the most, and I said it thousands of times, the most important position in North American sports, which is usually the most lucrative position in North American sports. They're not going to give it to somebody who out there that got his brother doing videos every couple of minutes and got folks circling around. I was watching this little practice thing they were doing yesterday. He got like 3 different cameras and 3 angles all around him the whole time. This is before he got drafted. So again, I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying, if I'm drafting him in the 4th round and I'm the Atlanta Falcons and I say, I'm going to draft Shaduer, you can't get mad later on when the circus come to town during the season, during practice, on the sidelines, because that's what you're going to bring. The most ironic thing, I saw the call when he got it from Cleveland, and he got that call. And again, I'm not dogging Dion as a father. As a father, he raised some good young men and women. They seem mannerable. They seem like they pretty down to earth when they do a lot of their stuff. But it is ironic that when he got off the phone and he grabbed the phone, let me talk to the owner. And I'm not saying most dads wouldn't want to do it, but I'm like, come on, Dion. That's the reason why he went where he is now. Come on, man. Miller says, Uncle, kind of disagree. Philly like that kind of stuff. Arrogant, cocky, but him flashing in that city would have been dangerous, though. Millie, I disagree about quarterback. They'll deal with running backs, flashy, wide receivers, flashy, D-backs, flashy, linebackers, flashy. You can't get into that quarterback position and play that role like that. I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to do it. If you think back to our example here, and at the time, we had young owner Smith. We didn't know what he was doing, Mora. Dan Reeves tried to get him a little bit. But I'm telling you, there were a lot of people that didn't like the little flag. And Dion was, I'm not saying Dion. Mike Vick really wasn't as chatty like these cats were. He really wasn't. You listen to a lot of Mike Vick off the press conference and stuff. Mike, he stayed to himself. He might have been doing some dog stuff, but he stayed to himself most of the time. It's bad host. But he did. Sorry. Georgia Texas boy said, nah, he want to be compared to Brady. He wants to, but you got to do Brady stuff first. I would love for him to. You got to do Brady stuff. Brady didn't come in the league and was anointed from the moment he was drafted. He would have been in the second round instead of the 6th. Mr. Smith said the Aints effed up passing on Sanders, and I love it. Yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to deal with him with that New Orleans, man. Not at all. Georgia Texas boy said, I thought the Raiders were going to take a shot after the third. I thought they may too. I thought they might too. Antonio James in the house. What's going on, Antonio? He said the NFL put up with a lot of the off-the-field issues, but ego is where they draw the line. You probably right. They will more or less get somebody 1/4 inch from being a felon as long as they can play the game and do what you need to do. They'll do that person before they do the overly cocky person. Hate it if you want to. That's just the truth. Georgia Texas boy, why do you think Travis was so glad he got drafted by Jacksonville? I'm trying to tell y'all. Look, I'm sure they're boys. Travis needs to get away from him. Travis needs to do his. Travis is going to be a star. I'm just worried about him. He a little slight. He needs to gain about 10, 15 more pounds because they going to go for him. Travis is going to be a star. I don't think Jacksonville is going to be his last spot, but I think he's going to be a star. Georgia Texas boy said, folks complaining just because he's black, acting like Jasmine Crockett. I'll leave my girl Jasmine alone. But there are people that's taking this way too far. Lisa Shepard, what's going on? It's like there's a Shaduer hive. If you say anything non-complimentary, you are a hater. That's my point. And you know, I like the young man as a quarterback, but I do feel like there are situations where I think he could use some I don't want to say social graces because that's going too far. I'm not trying to say that. But I'm saying if you want to be a quarterback in the NFL, folks, the quarterback in the NFL has got to be one of the smartest guys on the field, not suggesting he isn't smart, or one of the most. You got to be thinking more about what's going on that field, and you have to be totally engulfed in your craft. I'm not sure. I don't know. Is there some reality when you start talking about I've been under my daddy the whole time for the last 5 years as a coach? And somebody enlightened me and said his dad was, I didn't know Dion was coaching him in high school. I didn't know that. Somebody told me that the other day. That's something to worry about. Billy Mills said 2002 and 2023 overall was black, though. Same thing. That's what I'm saying. And 24. And 25. Alibi say, what else do we need on defense? I would have loved to see them solidify. I know we got Kobe Bryant as an undrafted free agent. I wish, Mike, if they go for Jalen Ramsey and we don't have to mortgage the farm, I would love to see that possibly happen. But I would love to see that cornerback too. The two safeties make me feel good about putting somebody on the other side with Jesse. At least there'll be a healthy competition for that. I would like to see them solidify that other cornerback position though, Mike. Sister Alert in the house, what's going on? In the house. She said, look. She said, look, we love Desmond at one time. No judgment on any pick until they hit the field, which for some is not this season. Real talk. That's super real talk. Absolutely real talk. They got Desmond. There was some of y'all that would, and I promise y'all, I was looking and I was like, I don't know. Man, in Cincinnati, he was undefeated. He never lost at home. He hadn't lost a home game since high school. He was and Desmond lasted here, what, a year and a half? I was saying. Greg says, as a diehard Falcon, you gotta love the Aints had a horrible draft. There's a picture of Tyler Slow making a horrible throw. Imagine how horrible it's gonna be with the Atlanta pressure on. Oh, dude, in the combine, he was not even coming close. I remember me and my son watching him throw when they had the little line when they would have them throw the deep pass and then throw the inside pass. He was one of the most inaccurate at that time. Again, maybe nervous, maybe whatever. He does have some good highlights at Louisville, though. But yeah, good for New Orleans. Billy says Tampa signed that mammoth out of Florida. Yeah, I know. I saw that. That would have been somebody perfect for that 3-4. Definitely. Philip in the house. What's going on, Philip? He said, will Walker get 11 or is it off limits? I say give it to him. It ain't off limits. Homeboy, look, if y'all can't tell, Julio don't look like he want anything to do with us. So from a Falcons standpoint, yeah, you give it to him. You give it to them, absolutely. Unless they're doing some talk behind the scenes. But no. I mean, our franchise don't need to be retiring anybody's number. Give me a championship. Tell me the person who's going to lead us to the championship, and then we'll go there. Dr. Ganja, Ganja 99 said he overrated himself. Plus teams not trying to deal with the antics. Same thing I'm saying, just say it in a different way. He's right. Rusty says, treated like a king at Jackson State and handed the job at Colorado. He thought the my daddy is Deion thing was the golden goose egg. If he was 6'5" with a cannon and cloud run like LJ, maybe teams overlook the noise. You said you got the very last part where you talk about if he was 6'5" with a cannon. If Shaduer was uber talented, folks would have drafted him no matter what. Talent always overcomes all the other stuff. And another point that Rusty made that's not talked about a lot, Deion coached every team he started for. Now, we also saw it on the field. I'm not trying to tell you the man can't complete a pass. I'm not trying to tell you the man can't throw long bombs. It does help to have the greatest athlete in college over the last 2 years on your team as well. But if y'all really think about it, we talking about we talking about Shaduer. They went 4-8 his first year. Shaduer went 13-12. And yes, a lot of that was on him. He threw some horrible interceptions, even though they weren't as numerous, but he threw some bad ones. And everybody keep talking about the offensive line. Shaduer held that ball so long sometimes, folks. Y'all got to go look at it. He held that ball so long. Ron Thomas in the house. What's going on, Ron? How you doing, brother? James says the quarterback the Saints took from Louisville, he didn't show me anything special up here, but I think he will get the starting quarterback because Carr's probably going to be out with that shoulder. And in my opinion, Spencer Rattler is trash. Yeah, he has a really good chance to be starting. I saw something with Derek Carr at his church where he was talking about some of the stuff. And while he didn't say he wasn't going to be playing, which is interesting, I think that would have been a chance for him to say, I'll be ready, y'all. I'll be ready. But he said, we got to take care of some things. So he does sound like he might not be there at the beginning of the year. I think anything was better than Rattler. And then Taysom Hill is not on the team anymore, right? I don't think they have Taysom Hill anymore. So, yeah, we might see him. I hope we see him. I hope that's the first game of the year this year. And we have New Orleans so we can beat the snot out of them. Mike said he has never had to be coached by anyone else, only his father. And, folks, that makes a difference. If I were coached by my dad from high school, 2 years at Jackson State, 2 years at Colorado, and then I'm going into a different environment, dude, I'm sorry. Being coached by your dad is probably different than being coached by, regular coaches. It's different. Raymond Collins, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Producer says, ain't got a scrub quarterback, and I love it. Dr. Ganja said, I think Pierce is going to be the better rusher, but Walker is going to be hell off that edge. I think so, too, and I think this might be really good if we can get that D-line. If we can get the D-line to give some kind of pressure up the middle, man, I think this is lining up for us to have a really good pass rush this year. I think it is, if you ask me. Oh, this game. Hey, I got all these comments looking so good. He said, Dre said, man, F Julio Jones. Burn all his jersey and never mention him at a Falcon talk anymore. If you don't respect the fans that brought your merch and touted you to the heavens, and you can't thank us. Now, Dre, I have to stop you there. He absolutely 100% thanked the fans. He wasn't thanking the Atlanta Falcons organization. He thanked the fans. It was on 404 day. So he did do that. I gotta correct you there. He did thank the fans. However, that being said, the way he went out, still kind of questionable to me. So I'm kind of on that first line with you with Julio, and especially as far as the number is concerned. I'm like, yeah, let somebody else play with that number. He'll be all right. Philip says, what's the numbers to make Walker and Pierce worth being first round picks? What's the numbers to make? I'm talking about, are you talking just pure sack numbers? I'm trying to figure out when you're saying what's the numbers to make it. I redirect that one more time. Are you talking about salary? Or are you talking about stats? I'm trying to see which one you're talking about. Alamite said Dion made the offense for his son to rack up completions and yards. It seemed like it. It seemed like he did. And good job for him. But obviously people weren't buying what he was selling. Dr. Ganja said he took some of the worst sacks I ever seen, like 20 to 30-yard sacks. All you got to do, if you don't believe Dr. Ganja, go back and look. He took horrible sacks. Yeah, I think it was one of those games, Dr. Ganja, he had like a 2nd and 10 that turned into a 3rd and 26, then turned into a 4th and 4. He did stuff like that. And again, he's college, he's young, but if you want to get to that next level, man, you can't just go by your bravado, bro. You can't do it. King Rich says, man, can we give Jalen number 11 better than Emory Jones? I'll give it to Jalen in a heartbeat. Again, I don't even think they have to ask. I think he'll get it. Van Damon says, if Shaduer had the talent plus flash like his father and played against SEC defenses consistently, I would be all in on him. And that's the one thing we never saw. Again, think about it, y'all. 4-8 the first season. Remember when they beat TCU and they beat Nebraska and then they beat Colorado State at the beginning of 2023 and everybody thought they were going to the college football playoff, and then they ended up proceeding to lose the next 8 out of 9 games it was that year. And I was trying to tell people at first, and I was like, folks, these are not good teams. I know TCU was coming off the national championship, but half their team went to the draft. And they made a mistake and beat them. And everybody was, oh, Colorado, they're coming. But what is that? We coming. And Shadur, again, he had it set up where he did. He brought a lot of his buddies from Jackson State, guys who had caught balls from him before, and it was set up good for him. I wish and I said this earlier, I want to be a fly on the wall to hear those conversations in those interviews. I really would love to hear those. I want to hear what he was saying. I hear the hearsay stuff from the Giants interview, but I really want to hear what was going on. Just would be interesting. Alamite says, ain't quarterback is 26. They have to play him soon. He's old, 7 years in college. That's what they're doing now. Remember, they had those COVID years and stuff. James says that fact he's on the Saints, our biggest rival in our division, and the fact that he played for Louisville, Kentucky's biggest rival as well here in Kentucky, makes me want to see him get beat down so bad. James, you're going to get your wish. You absolutely going to get your wish. No doubt. Yeah, Dr. Ganja. Yeah, and I just found that out. Dr. Ganja Dion was his OC in high school. That's. I'm telling you. Yeah, things like that make a difference. He said, "No, I think Walker is better at edge. He's like James Harrison." Okay, when you talk about stats, Philip. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I think. Well, the thing with Pierce now, his criticism. Was some of the stuff that they would say about even some of the Falcons, almost like what you hear with Kyle Pitts. Like, he would give up on a lot of plays. He didn't go. When his motor was rolling, he was rolling. But when he stopped playing, he was just on the field. That was a lot of the stuff when it came from him. Jalen, I think, put up some good numbers. I got to see how many sacks he actually had on here. I got to look that up. As soon as I get off over here. That's good. That's good question though. King Reggie says, but remember, Ober says pass rush is like art. If you can get them to rush together, it's like creating a masterpiece of a painting. I'm gonna trust that. And here's the one thing I love about this situation too, King. These are young guys that he's gonna have. The majority of these guys are young. So they're gonna listen to anybody that has that pro experience. If you think about the guys they brought in, when you talk about the Trices, you talk about the Bertrands, you talk about the Dorfus, you talk about Arukaro, you start talking about Pierce and now Jalen Walker. All of these guys are first and second year, hungry to listen to anybody that's going to make them better. If I harken back again to that Falcons year where we made the Super Bowl, half of our team was first and second year players. Easier to coach, in my opinion, because they're hungry. They're going to listen. And not to say veteran guys don't listen, but they probably have to be there for a certain amount of time. Mike says, what grade do you give Terry? I give Terry pretty much an A. Just plain out simple. Plain and simple. A for the draft. Yeah, no other grade to give him. He was. You met every need, and I think you'll see all five of those guys on the roster. Sometimes the 7th round pick doesn't get on here. I think you'll see all five of those guys on the roster. J&D Truck says, do we even entertain signing Judon now? Because I think Ellis should play edge as well. That's a good question. If you would have asked me prior to the draft, prior to those first two moves, I probably would have said yes. But I mean, Judon got to look and see what we got too. And he's going to be dealing with a different DC. And I'm not paying him a lot of money. Same thing goes for Simmons. Justin Simmons said in an interview with Kay Adams about a week and a half ago, he said for all the changes and saying they were going youthful, he said, but he hasn't closed the door as coming back either. But with the Falcons drafting 2 safeties and still got Helms back there, that might not be that, and Fuller. Just got Fuller from the Panthers, so we might not do that. Alamite says, I heard Dolphins are renegotiating his contract. Okay, as far as Ramsey is concerned. Okay. Dr. God just said folks say they want the Shaduer interview files over the JFK. Yeah, tell them to open those files. Those are the files I'm interested in. That's a good one. King Richard said the quarterback they got now better than Shaduer, to be honest, and he not a bad quarterback either. So I'm 50-50 on him. Okay. I hear you. Greg said Walker was abusing that tackle the Aints drafted in the first round, rubbing my hands like Birdman. That's one of my favorite beams. Oh, man. Antonio says, my thing is you pull a prank on your friends, not somebody you don't know. I would be surprised if we lose another draft pick for the data breach. Dude was bold enough to post multiple videos. Here's the one thing that you probably, and I get that some people might be upset about that a little bit, but and they should be, because it never should have gotten in his hands. But I am a believer that I don't think they're gonna do much to him. I think that Falcons already said they're not gonna do anything. You know, you live and learn. It was a stupid, idiotic, childish, immature thing that the young man did. And I'm telling you, there's nothing that the Falcons are gonna do worse than what his father's gonna do. But for his father, the conversation that he's gonna have to his father in his face when his father said, "Son, you could have, with the right organization, you could have lost this job for me. And in turn, your college tuition, in turn, your things, your nice things that I'm able to get for you over a joke, over getting clicks on a video." Now, I will say this, jumping out of this Falcon skin, again, I laughed. And a lot of people laughed. It was childish, it was immature, but it was kind of funny in the moment. Now, he might probably get into any Shaduer Sanders parties anytime soon. But, yeah, you'd be all right. They'll probably give him some run at linebacker, but I think they like Diablo. Yeah, I forgot all about Diablo's in there too. I forgot all about that. Yeah, we totally forgot that. Hey, so listen, I have been on here for almost an hour and a half, and I had planned on only being on here an hour. I know you all have been awesome in the stream. Y'all do me a big favor if you don't mind. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to me. If you can, Uncle Steve's Lounge. Tell a friend or two. We'll try to be on here on Mondays for the Monday Minutia, just to update you on whether it's the Falcons. We're going to try to start back up the Sunday chill as well. Hopefully starting this Sunday. Get that back rolling again where we can relax, talk a little bit more sports, entertainment, things that nature. And then don't forget, again, push the like button, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, and just let your uncle know that y'all thinking about the content we have out here. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much again. And again, for those who I haven't talked to, thank you all again for the kind well wishes that I've had over the last 2 weeks. It's meant a lot to me from my Falcons brethren. Thank you so much. And we will see you all next time in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Appreciate you. Y'all take care.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's